She was already late. The rain hadn't stopped since 6 a.m., and now her blazer clung to her shoulders like a second skin, soaked through despite the cheap umbrella she gripped with white-knuckled fingers. Olivia Carter hated being late. Especially not today. Especially not for that interview. She'd worked her entire life for a shot like this, a full-time writer's position at Langford Publishing, one of the most cutthroat literary houses in Manhattan. She was 26, broke, living in a shoebox apartment in Harlem with 2 roommates and a mouse they decided to name Charles. This job wasn't just an opportunity. It was survival. And yet, just as she crossed 53rd and Lexington, dodging cabs and splashes of sewer water, she saw her. A woman. On the ground. Cradling her wrist, soaked in rain. Hair sticking to her face like dark ribbons, panic radiating from her body in visible waves. People walked past, they always did in this city. But something about the way the woman's eyes darted, something about the stillness in her pain, stopped Olivia cold. She froze mid-step, blinked twice, and turned, gaze flicking between the towering building across the street, Langford's offices, and the woman now clutching her ribs like she might collapse completely. "Fuck," Olivia muttered under her breath. And then she ran. Umbrella forgotten, hair plastered to her face, she dropped to her knees beside the stranger.
Hey.
Hey, are you okay? The woman looked up. Her eyes were the first thing Olivia noticed. Dark, piercing, defiant. Like she didn't want help. Like she didn't know how to ask for it. The woman swallowed hard, voice barely audible over the sound of the rain. "I think it's my wrist." Hey, if you're enjoying this story, go ahead and drop a like to help us grow even more. And let me know in the comments, on a scale from 0 to 10, what score would you give this story so far? Your feedback makes all the difference. I fell. I can't move it. Okay. You're not bleeding. That's good. Can you walk? The woman gave her a look. I'm not dying. I'm just humiliated. Good. That's a healthy sign. Olivia smiled, teeth chattering. Come on. There's a clinic 3 blocks down. We'll get you checked out. No, what? No hospitals. No clinics. Just no. Olivia blinked, unsure if she'd heard her right. Are you allergic to help or something? The woman exhaled sharply through her nose, a half laugh, half wince. Something like that. And that's when Olivia noticed it, the bruises. Not fresh. Not from this fall. Older, yellowing at the edges. One on her collarbone, another barely visible near her temple. She felt something cold settle in her gut. Okay, Olivia said carefully. Then we'll go to my place. Just to rest. Dry off. I'll make tea, maybe ice your wrist, and then you can tell me what happened. Or not. Your call. The woman studied her. And Olivia, despite every instinct to get up and sprint to Langford before the clock struck 9 o'clock, stayed perfectly still. Waiting. After a beat, the woman nodded.
All right.
But only for a bit.
Deal.
They walked in silence, sharing Olivia's destroyed umbrella, water sloshing in their shoes. The woman moved stiffly, teeth clenched against pain. Olivia wanted to ask 100 questions. Who are you? What happened? Why the bruises? Why the panic? But something told her not yet. Once inside her cramped apartment, Olivia tossed towels at her and pointed toward the bathroom. Warm up. I'll make something hot. 10 minutes later, the woman reemerged wrapped in a too-big hoodie Olivia had lent her. She looked softer now. Less armor, more vulnerability. Olivia handed her a mug of chamomile tea and sat across the kitchen table. I'm Olivia, by the way. A pause. Then, Rowan. That's a cool name. Like, mysterious forest woman vibes. Rowan didn't smile, but her lips twitched. And you're the Good Samaritan who skipped an interview to play nurse. I didn't skip. I rescheduled in spirit. Rowan raised an eyebrow. You're soaked. No phone in sight. You didn't reschedule shit. Olivia sighed, hiding her face behind her mug. Okay, fine. I might have sacrificed my future to make sure you didn't bleed out on the sidewalk. Rowan looked at her, then really looked, and something shifted. You shouldn't have done that. Too late. Their eyes held, and Olivia felt it. The kind of silence that isn't empty. The kind that hums. You always help strangers? Rowan asked quietly. Only the ones who look like they've been through hell and still manage to look intimidating as fuck. Rowan's lips parted, surprise, maybe. A flicker of something softer. But then she stood abruptly. I should go. What? No, you just got. I appreciate it. Really. But this was a mistake. And just like that, she was grabbing her coat. Olivia jumped up, heart racing.
Rowan.
Wait. She froze at the door. I don't know what you're running from, Olivia said, voice low, honest. But whatever it is, maybe you don't have to face it alone. Rowan turned halfway. Rain still poured outside. The hallway light flickered. I don't trust people, Rowan whispered. Then trust the tea. It's pretty decent. A beat. Then, finally, Rowan let the bag fall from her hand and stepped back inside. Rowan didn't speak for a long time after she stepped back inside. She moved slowly, as if unsure of her own decision, letting her bag drop again to the floor and accepting the towel Olivia offered her without a word. The apartment was small, but warm, filled with mismatched furniture and the comforting scent of cinnamon and old books. Olivia tried to keep herself busy, fiddling with a tea bag she didn't need, adjusting a throw pillow, pretending not to notice how Rowan's eyes swept over the space like she was memorizing the exits. You want food? Olivia asked, her voice casual, too casual. I have soup. Or ramen. Or soup made from ramen pretending to be something fancier. Rowan didn't answer at first. She sat at the edge of Olivia's old couch like a soldier trained not to take up space. Finally, she murmured, soup is fine. Olivia made it in silence, acutely aware of the tension in the room. Not angry tension, something else. Charged. Heavy with unsaid things. She felt it in her spine, in the way her fingers trembled as she stirred the pot. This wasn't just about a stranger in her home. It felt bigger. Like she'd stepped into something with no name yet, something irreversible. She handed Rowan the bowl with care, sitting beside her, but not too close. She didn't ask any more questions. But Rowan spoke anyway. I didn't mean to scare you, she said, voice low. Olivia glanced at her. You didn't. Rowan gave a faint, humorless smile. I always do. Even when I'm trying not to. Why? Rowan stared into the bowl like it held answers. Because people can tell when something's wrong. They don't always know what it is, but they sense it. They look at me and see a problem. I didn't see a problem, Olivia said gently. Rowan's eyes lifted to hers, and for a moment Olivia felt like she'd said the exact thing Rowan didn't know she needed to hear. Why did you stop? Rowan asked after a pause. You could have walked right past me. Everyone else did. Because I saw you, Olivia replied simply. And because I could not stop. Rowan didn't speak, but something in her expression cracked open. Olivia saw it, a flicker of something raw, something soft. She didn't press. They ate in silence after that, the kind that didn't feel awkward. Outside, the rain kept falling, smearing the windows in gray. When they finished, Olivia took the bowls to the sink. You can crash here tonight if you want, she offered, without turning around. I'll take the floor. It's not comfy, but I've survived worse. You're offering a lot to someone you don't know, Rowan said quietly. I know enough. You really don't. Olivia turned then. Okay, so tell me. Or don't. Your choice. But I'm not going to kick you out into the rain, Rowan. Rowan leaned back into the couch cushions, her head tipping up toward the ceiling. She looked exhausted. Not just physically. Deeply, thoroughly worn down. I left someone, she said finally. Someone dangerous. Someone who thinks they own me. Olivia's pulse quickened. Are they looking for you? Probably. Do they know your name? Where you'd go? Rowan shook her head.
No.
I was careful. Do you have anywhere else to stay? No. Olivia crossed the room and sat beside her, closer this time. Their knees brushed. Neither moved. Then stay here, she said, softer now. At least until you figure out what you want to do next. Rowan looked at her, and Olivia saw the moment something in her defenses slipped. A brief, naked moment of vulnerability. You don't even know who I am, she whispered. Then let me find out, Olivia said. Slowly.
Safely.
No pressure. Rowan inhaled, her breath shaky. I haven't felt safe in a long time. You are now. A long silence followed. And then Rowan nodded. Okay, just for tonight. Olivia smiled, but didn't push further. She stood and grabbed some extra blankets. They set up the bed awkwardly. Rowan insisted Olivia take the bed, but Olivia refused, so they ended up both lying on the floor, side by side, on a nest of blankets and shared body heat. This is weird, Rowan said into the dark. Yeah, Olivia agreed. But not bad weird.
No.
Not bad. For a moment, the silence stretched again, but this time it was different. Not heavy. Electric. Olivia rolled onto her side, facing Rowan. Her eyes adjusted to the darkness, just enough to see the other woman's profile. You're not what I expected, Olivia murmured. Rowan turned to face her too. What did you expect? Someone guarded. Cold. Dangerous, maybe. And I'm not. Olivia smirked. You're still all those things. But I think there's more under it. Something beautiful. Rowan's eyes searched hers. You don't even know me. I know how it felt when you looked at me and didn't flinch. I know how it felt to sit beside you and not feel alone. Rowan swallowed hard. Her voice cracked when she spoke again. I'm not good at this. Me neither. Their breath mingled. A moment too long. Then Rowan looked away. We should sleep. Yeah, Olivia whispered. But her heart was racing. Neither of them slept quickly. The rain became a lullaby, the room filled with unspoken words, unasked questions. Olivia didn't reach out. She didn't need to. The warmth between them was already there, patient, aching, growing in the silence. When Olivia woke up, the sun was slicing through the blinds in long golden stripes, catching the floating dust in the air. Her body ached from the makeshift bed on the floor, but it wasn't the stiffness that made her chest feel tight. It was the warmth still lingering where Rowan had slept beside her. Except Rowan wasn't there anymore. Olivia sat up fast, heart skipping. The blankets were still crumpled next to hers, faintly warm. The front door was shut. Quiet filled the room like a warning. Then she heard it, soft movement from the kitchen. Olivia exhaled slowly and stood, padding toward the sound. Rowan was there, barefoot, wrapped in Olivia's oversized flannel, hair slightly damp, wrist bandaged now in gauze Olivia didn't remember having. She was boiling water, staring into the kettle like it held secrets. Olivia leaned on the doorframe. You scared me.
Thought you ghosted me.
Rowan glanced over. I don't ghost. I vanish. It's different. Noted. Want to vanish back to bed. Rowan raised an eyebrow, and Olivia immediately cursed herself for the joke. Kidding, she said quickly, though her cheeks burned. Mostly. Rowan turned back to the kettle. I was going to leave before you woke up. Figured it was better that way. But you didn't. Rowan didn't respond. The kettle started to whistle. She turned it off and poured the water into 2 mugs, sliding one across the counter toward Olivia. Chamomile again. You don't talk in your sleep, Rowan said. Olivia blinked. You watched me sleep? Not on purpose. She sipped. You just looked peaceful. I don't know what that feels like. Olivia took her tea, heart pounding in her chest for no good reason. Or maybe a very good one. You stayed, she said softly. That's something. Don't get used to it. But Rowan's voice lacked sharpness. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept at all. I need to find a place. Something low-key, cash-based. I can't stay here. Olivia tried not to react. Tried not to let the quiet ache in her chest show. I get it, but you don't have to rush out today. Rowan hesitated, then nodded once. One more night. That's it. Olivia gave a crooked smile. You keep saying that, but I'm starting to think you're bad at goodbyes. Rowan didn't smile back, but something in her eyes shimmered. After breakfast, Olivia checked her phone. 8 missed calls from the editor at Langford. Her heart sank. She'd known the fallout would come, but seeing it in numbers made it worse. She stared at the screen until Rowan leaned over, peering at it. That the job? Olivia locked the phone quickly.
Yeah.
They'll survive. You care about it. I care about a lot of things. But you dropped it for me. I didn't drop it. I paused it. There's a difference. Rowan studied her face.
Why?
Olivia didn't have an answer that made sense. You were in pain. I couldn't walk away from that. Rowan didn't press. But something shifted again. Another wall, chipped just slightly. That afternoon, they barely left the apartment. The rain came back, more gentle now, a soft tapping on the windows that felt like background music. Olivia wrote a little, mostly journal entries she'd never show anyone. Rowan sat by the window, staring out like she was waiting for something to appear. At one point, Olivia offered to bandage her wrist again, and Rowan hesitated before holding out her arm. Olivia worked carefully, brushing skin, wrapping the gauze with deliberate slowness. She could feel Rowan's eyes on her. You've done this before, Rowan said. Had clumsy roommates. You're good at it. So are you. Rowan tilted her head. At what? Staying quiet just loud enough to fill the whole room. Rowan looked down. You should stop saying things like that. Why? Because I might believe you. Olivia didn't look away. Maybe you should. That night, they cooked together. It was simple. Pasta, sauce from a jar, garlic bread that nearly burned, but Olivia hadn't laughed like that in weeks. Rowan made dry, sharp jokes under her breath, surprising even herself. They danced around each other in the tiny kitchen like they'd done it 100 times before. After dinner, Rowan pulled an old book from Olivia's shelf and started reading it on the couch. Olivia watched her from across the room, pen in hand, laptop forgotten. She looked right there, like she belonged. But it couldn't last. Olivia knew that. And maybe Rowan did too. Just past midnight, Rowan stood. I need air. Olivia looked up. Want company? Rowan hesitated.
Sure.
They walked through quiet streets slick with leftover rain. Streetlights cast golden reflections on the pavement. Olivia didn't ask where they were going. She just followed. Eventually, they stopped at a closed bodega. Rowan leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Olivia stood beside her. You're not just running. Olivia said quietly. You're hiding. Rowan didn't answer. Who is it? Olivia asked. The one who hurt you? Rowan looked up at the night sky. Someone who liked owning things.
People.
Me mostly. Olivia felt her blood heat. Was it someone close? A relationship? Rowan nodded. Not just romantic. He was powerful. Connected. You're safe here. No one's ever really safe from people like him. You never said his name. Because names make things real. Olivia stepped closer. You're real. You're here. That means you're already winning. Rowan's breath caught. You talk like you're not afraid of anything. I'm afraid of everything. Especially how I'm starting to feel about you. Rowan's eyes snapped to hers. For a second, neither of them breathed. Then Rowan whispered, Don't say that. Why not? Because I'll ruin it. Olivia touched her hand, gently. Then ruin it with me. Rowan stared at their fingers, then laced hers into Olivia's. They stood there like that, silent, holding hands, surrounded by the sound of the sleeping city and the quiet beginnings of something they didn't have a name for yet. They didn't talk much on the way back. Fingers still interlaced, steps slow. Their silence was no longer heavy. It pulsed with something electric, something neither of them wanted to name yet. The city around them had quieted. Olivia watched Rowan out of the corner of her eye. There was a change in her now. Less rigidity. Her shoulders, once locked in armor, had softened, and though her face still held shadows, she wasn't looking over her shoulder every 5 seconds. Back in the apartment, Rowan dropped her coat onto the floor and moved straight toward the window, the same one she'd stared out of the day before. She stood there for a moment before speaking, her voice low. I haven't touched someone like that in a long time. Olivia set her keys down quietly. Like what? Rowan glanced at her. Without expecting anything in return. Without it costing something. Olivia's throat tightened. It didn't cost me anything. It cost you that job. That wasn't your fault. Doesn't matter. Rowan turned to her fully now. No one does things for me without a price. No one ever stays. Olivia crossed the room slowly. I'm not asking you to promise anything. I want to be someone who stays.
For as long as you'll let me.
Rowan didn't answer right away. She just watched her. Then, almost cautiously, she said, "Come here." Olivia stepped in closer. Rowan reached out, not for her hand, but for her face. Her fingers were warm, trembling slightly as they brushed against Olivia's jaw. "I don't know what this is," Rowan whispered, "but I can't stop thinking about you." "Then don't stop." And that was all it took. Rowan leaned in, slow at first, lips brushing Olivia's with a hesitation that felt reverent, like she wasn't sure she deserved this. Olivia kissed her back, softly at first, then deeper, until Rowan broke the contact with a shaky breath and leaned her forehead against Olivia's. "I shouldn't," Rowan murmured, "but I want to." Olivia smiled against her lips. Wanting is a good start. They spent the rest of the night in the kind of quiet intimacy Olivia hadn't known she craved, fingers brushing under borrowed sweaters, laughter muffled by shared blankets, Rowan asleep with her head on Olivia's chest. Olivia didn't sleep. She couldn't. Not when this felt like something rare, something dangerous and delicate, and impossible to hold on to. And still, she didn't want to let go. The morning came too soon. The light was pale through the windows, and Rowan was already up, coffee brewing, hair messy and bare feet padding across the kitchen tiles like she'd done it every morning of her life. Olivia sat up, watching her with a quiet ache. "You look like you belong here," she said softly. Rowan turned. "Don't say that." "Why not?" "Because if I start to believe it, it'll hurt more when I leave." Olivia stood, walked over, and took the mug from her hand. "Then don't leave." Rowan held her gaze. "I can't stay forever." "Just stay today." Rowan hesitated, then nodded. "Okay, today." But by midday, the fragile piece shattered. Olivia had stepped out for groceries. Just 20 minutes. She returned to find the apartment door cracked open. Her stomach dropped. "Rowan," she called out, stepping in cautiously. Silence. The apartment was untouched, but Rowan was gone. Her bag still sat near the couch. Her mug was still on the table, but she was nowhere in sight. Olivia's hand shook. She called out again, "Rowan." And then, from the fire escape, a voice, strained, furious, familiar now in ways that made Olivia's blood run cold. "Get back inside." Olivia rushed toward the window. Rowan was out there, body half hanging over the railing, facing a man in a suit. His voice was low, controlled, but Olivia could hear the danger in it. "I told you I'd find you," he said to Rowan. "I told you running was pointless." "I'm not going with you," Rowan snapped. Her entire body was trembling, but her voice didn't break. "You don't get to control me anymore." "You think this is about control?" he said. "This is about ownership. You're mine. You always were." Olivia flung the window open. "Hey, back the fuck off." The man turned slowly. His smile was ice. "And you must be the reason she's playing house like some pet stray." Olivia climbed out onto the fire escape. "You need to leave. Now." "Or what?" "Or I call the police." His smile faltered, just for a second. "They won't help you. You don't know who I am." "I don't care." Olivia stepped in front of Rowan. "You're not touching her." For a second, it looked like he might grab her, might try something. But then, to Olivia's shock, he backed away. Slowly. Calculated. "This isn't over," he said. "She doesn't belong to you. She never did. She doesn't belong to anyone." He gave Rowan one last look, not of anger, but of possession, and then turned and disappeared down the stairs. Olivia turned to Rowan, who looked frozen, eyes wide, body stiff. "Are you okay?" Rowan didn't speak. Her knees gave out, and Olivia caught her before she hit the metal floor.
"Hey."
"You're safe. I've got you." Rowan buried her face into Olivia's shoulder, shaking. "I didn't think he'd find me so fast." "You don't have to go back. He'll come again. Then we'll be ready." Rowan looked up, her voice breaking. "You can't protect me from someone like him." Then we'll find someone who can. Olivia paused. We'll go to the police. I'll go with you. You do that. Olivia cupped her face. I'd do anything. And in that moment, with the danger still fresh and their hearts racing, Rowan did the one thing she hadn't done in years. She let herself be held, not because she needed it, but because she wanted to believe someone else could carry the weight for a while. And Olivia? She held on tighter. Rowan didn't sleep that night. Olivia knew it before she even opened her eyes. She could feel it in the stillness beside her. Too still, too controlled. When she finally turned her head, she found Rowan sitting up, wrapped in a blanket, eyes fixed on the window as if expecting him to appear again. Her body was still, but her fingers trembled. You should try to rest, Olivia said softly. Rowan didn't look at her. Can't. You're safe here. For now. Olivia sat up slowly. Do you want me to stay up with you? You already are. Olivia reached out, hesitating only a moment before resting her hand on Rowan's knee. He's not coming back. Not after that. You don't know him, Rowan whispered. He doesn't like to lose. Especially not to someone like me. What does that mean? Rowan finally looked at her. He doesn't like women who leave. Women who say no. Women who remind him he's not in control. Olivia's jaw tightened. Then we remind him again. Rowan's lips curved, but there was no humor in it. You're brave. I'm not. I'm just angry. Angry at him? Angry that he hurt you. Angry that you still flinch at shadows because of him. Rowan's breath caught, and she looked away.
You shouldn't get involved in this.
You didn't ask for it. Maybe not. But I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere. Rowan closed her eyes. I don't know how to let someone help me. You're already doing it. Rowan's voice broke. It doesn't feel like enough. It is. Olivia leaned closer, speaking softer now. You don't have to fix everything overnight. Just breathe. Just let me hold you. And Rowan did. She leaned into Olivia like she was collapsing into a place she'd been holding herself out of for too long. Olivia wrapped her arms around her and held her tight, feeling every tremble in her bones. They stayed that way for hours, breathing in sync, hearts slowly calming. That morning, Rowan was the one who made breakfast. It wasn't much, scrambled eggs, toast, black coffee, but it was something. Olivia watched her move around the kitchen, quieter than before, but more grounded. She noticed the difference in her movements, no longer frantic or guarded, but focused. Measured. You cook like someone who's had to feed herself for a long time, Olivia said, watching her. Rowan glanced over. I have. No one else? People don't stay long enough to need feeding. Olivia bit her lip. You've got me now. For how long? Olivia stood and walked over, gently brushing her hand against Rowan's back. As long as you let me. They ate together in silence. Not awkward silence, the kind that only existed when two people were learning to share space without fear. After breakfast, Olivia opened her laptop and stared at the email still sitting in her drafts. A reply to Langford. No apology. Just a request, another chance. She'd written it 3 days ago. She hadn't sent it. Rowan sat beside her, quiet, reading her expression. That the job thing? Olivia nodded. They offered an interview reschedule. I never responded. Why not? I didn't want to leave you. Rowan frowned. You can't give up your life for me. I didn't. I made a choice. I'd do it again. But you don't even know what we are. Olivia turned to her, eyes steady.
No.
But I know what I feel. And I know what I want. Rowan's breath caught. And what's that? Olivia reached out, brushing a loose strand of hair from her face. You. In whatever way you'll let me have you. Rowan closed her eyes, as if that touch ignited something too dangerous. What if I mess this up? Then we mess it up together. Rowan looked at her like no one ever had, like she was trying to memorize her. She stood up slowly and walked to the window again, arms crossed. I want to try. I do. But I don't know how to stop being afraid. Olivia joined her, standing close. Then don't. Be afraid. But don't be alone in it. Rowan turned her head slightly. Her voice was barely above a whisper. What if I fall for you? Olivia's answer was immediate. Then I'll catch you. And Rowan kissed her.
Harder this time.
Desperate. Like she needed to feel something good take over the fear. Olivia wrapped her arms around her waist, pulling her closer, feeling every ounce of that fear pour out in the way their lips met, in the way Rowan clung to her like she'd float away if she let go. They didn't make it to the bedroom. They didn't care. The couch. The floor. It didn't matter.
It wasn't just about lust.
It was about survival. About claiming a piece of safety in someone's arms. After, Rowan lay with her head on Olivia's chest, both of them half-dressed, breathing slow and heavy. Rowan's fingers traced the curve of Olivia's ribs absent-mindedly. I didn't think I could feel this again, she whispered.
What?
Want.
Safety.
Desire without guilt. Olivia kissed the top of her head. You deserve all of it. I don't know what happens next. We breathe. We take the next step. Whatever it is. Rowan was quiet for a while. Then, you're going to send that email. Olivia blinked. What? To Langford. You're not losing everything because of me. It's not losing. It's choosing. Choose both, Rowan said, lifting her head. Me and your future. Please. Olivia studied her face. Okay, I will. Rowan exhaled. And I'll try to be brave.
For you.
Olivia kissed her softly. Be brave for yourself. I'll be right here either way. That night, they slept entangled, not because they had to, but because they wanted to. For the first time, Rowan didn't flinch at the dark. Olivia didn't dream of what could go wrong. Only what could be built, slow, soft, dangerous, real. Olivia clicked send before she could talk herself out of it. The email to Langford went off with a quiet whoosh that felt louder than anything else in the apartment. She stared at the screen for a full minute after, heart pounding, and then slowly shut the laptop. It's done, she said aloud, though Rowan wasn't in the room to hear her. Rowan was in the shower. The water had been running for 15 minutes, and Olivia didn't mind. Rowan was safe. She could take as long as she wanted. Just knowing she was behind that door, close, real, was enough. Olivia stood up and walked toward the tiny kitchen, brewing 2 mugs of tea as background noise filled the silence. The steady stream of water, the distant hum of traffic, her own nervous thoughts. When Rowan finally emerged, wrapped in a towel and one of Olivia's old hoodies, her skin glowed pink from the heat. She looked more like herself today, or maybe like someone starting to remember who she used to be. Olivia handed her the tea without a word, and Rowan gave her a rare, genuine smile. I didn't think you'd still be here. It's my apartment, Olivia teased. Kind of hard to ghost you when I pay rent. That's not what I meant. Olivia reached out, brushed a damp strand of hair behind Rowan's ear. I'm not going anywhere. Rowan looked down at her tea, fingers wrapped tight around the mug. I keep waiting for this to collapse. Then maybe we build something stronger. Rowan looked up at her, a question in her eyes, but didn't say anything. She just sipped the tea, and Olivia let the silence stretch, safe this time. Comfortable. That afternoon, Rowan helped Olivia clean the apartment, not because it needed it, but because the act of doing something together felt grounding. They moved around each other easily, with a kind of unspoken rhythm that shouldn't have been possible after so few days. Olivia caught herself watching Rowan fold blankets and organize shelves with almost obsessive focus. There was something in the way she moved, methodical, precise, like she'd learned how to keep control in chaos by controlling her environment. Olivia wanted to ask about it, but she didn't.
Not yet.
Later, they curled up on the couch together, legs tangled, a movie playing in the background neither of them were watching. Olivia's hand rested on Rowan's thigh, and Rowan's fingers traced soft patterns on her wrist. The electricity between them wasn't loud tonight. It was steady, warming,
real.
Until the knock came. It was sharp. 3 quick hits. No one ever knocked on Olivia's door. She stiffened immediately, and Rowan went completely still. Olivia stood first. Stay here, she whispered. Rowan didn't argue. Olivia walked to the door and peeked through the peephole. A woman stood outside, tall, dark jacket, holding a manila envelope, her stance too stiff to be casual. Olivia opened the door, just a crack. "Can I help you?" The woman gave her a polite smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Olivia Carter?" "Who's asking?" "Detective Camille Hart. I'm here about Rowan Vale." Olivia's heart dropped. She didn't open the door further.
Why?
"We received a report. An anonymous tip that she may be in danger. Or a danger to someone else." Olivia blinked. I'm not here to arrest anyone," the detective said calmly. "I just want to ask a few questions. Make sure everyone's safe." Olivia hesitated, then turned to glance over her shoulder. Rowan was standing in the hallway, barefoot, her expression carved in stone. "Tell her I'm not here," she said flatly. Olivia hesitated. She already knows. Rowan cursed under her breath. Olivia turned back to the door. "Can I see a badge?" The detective held it up. It was real. Olivia opened the door, just enough to let her in. Rowan stayed where she was, arms crossed, jaw tight. The detective looked between them. "You're safe here?" she asked Rowan. Rowan nodded. "And you're not being held against your will?" "No, you understand someone called this in." They were worried. Rowan's eyes narrowed. It was him.
We don't know that yet.
But it fits. "So what now?" "Now I file a welfare report. I write down that you're fine, no further action needed. Unless you want to press charges, file a report yourself." Rowan looked away. "That won't help." Olivia stepped forward. "Can we ask if he's tracking her somehow?" "We're looking into it," the detective replied. "But if he's as connected as I think he is, you'll need more than a restraining order." "Like what?" Rowan asked, voice hollow. "A plan. A record. Witnesses. Documentation. We can't protect what we can't prove." Rowan's shoulders sagged. Olivia reached for her hand. The detective watched them, her expression softening slightly. "I don't know your story," she said gently. "But I've seen this pattern before. If you want help, you'll have it. But you have to want it loud enough for the law to hear you." She handed Olivia the envelope. "My card's in here. If he comes back, if you see something off, call me." Then she left. The door clicked shut behind her. Rowan didn't move. Olivia wrapped her arms around her from behind, held her there. "You okay?" she whispered. Rowan shook her head. No, they sat in silence again. But this one wasn't safe. This one pulsed with something harder. Olivia opened the envelope. Inside was a folder with notes, a few photos, one of Rowan from weeks ago, taken from a distance. Her walking alone. Another of her outside Olivia's building. "He's watching you," Olivia whispered. Rowan didn't respond. She just sat on the couch and stared at nothing. Olivia joined her, sitting close. "We can make a record. We can fight this." Rowan turned to her. "Why would you take this on? Why risk everything?" "Because I'm already in it. Because I see you. And I'm not afraid of him. You should be." Olivia took her hand. "Then we'll be afraid together." Rowan's eyes filled, but she didn't cry. She leaned in instead, kissed Olivia like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. And maybe it was. That night, they didn't touch each other out of desire. They held on out of survival. Two women against a storm no one else could see. And for the first time, Rowan let herself whisper the words she thought she'd never say again. "I want to stay." The apartment didn't feel the same after the detective left. It was as if something invisible had slipped through the cracks, coiled itself into the air, and settled in the corners. Fear had a scent now, and it mixed with the lavender candle Olivia had lit out of habit. Rowan hadn't said much in the past hour. She'd sat on the couch with her knees pulled to her chest, her gaze distant, like she was somewhere far away. Olivia didn't push. Instead, she sat nearby, close enough to offer presence but not pressure, letting the silence stretch between them because sometimes silence was safer than promises. But eventually, Rowan turned her head. Her voice was low when she said, "He was always like this, you know. Charming. Smart. Dangerous only when no one was watching. Everyone saw a brilliant man. I saw a cage." Olivia's heart clenched. "Did no one believe you?" "No one asked. And I stopped telling." Olivia reached out slowly, fingers brushing Rowan's hand. You don't have to stay quiet anymore. Rowan looked at their hands, but didn't move. I spent years making myself small, so he wouldn't notice I was slipping away. Even when I left, I didn't run. I disappeared. I thought if I vanished, he'd let me go. But he didn't. He never will. Not until someone stops him. Olivia swallowed hard. Then let's be the ones who do. Rowan looked up, eyes sharp. You don't understand what that means. If we go public, if I file charges, he'll unleash everything he has. Lawyers.
Money. Power.
I'll be dragged through the mud. And you, she broke off. You'll be a casualty. Olivia didn't blink. Then I'll bleed for the right side. Why are you like this? Rowan whispered. You should have walked past me on that street. But I didn't. And I won't now. Rowan stared at her for a long time. Then, for the first time since the knock at the door, she reached out. Not to kiss. Not to cling. Just to hold Olivia's hand and thread their fingers together. If we do this, Rowan said, we do it my way. We gather proof. We stay quiet until we're ready. We document everything. Olivia nodded. We do it your way. Rowan exhaled slowly, and for the first time in hours, the tension in her shoulders began to ease. Then I need to show you something. She stood, crossed the room, and opened her bag, the one she never let Olivia touch. From inside, she pulled out a battered leather notebook. What's that? Olivia asked. My insurance policy, Rowan said. Or at least the beginning of one. She opened it. Inside were pages filled with neat, careful handwriting. Names.
Dates.
Locations. Details. These are all the people he's hurt, she said. Women. Employees. Anyone who got in his way. I started writing it all down 2 years ago. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. I just knew I had to record it. Because no one believed me. But paper can't lie. Olivia flipped through the pages slowly. This is a case file. This could help so many people. Or destroy me if it falls into the wrong hands. Olivia looked up. It won't. Rowan hesitated. I trust you. That terrifies me. It terrifies me too, Olivia said honestly. But I'm still here. Rowan closed the notebook. Then let's start building something real. Quietly. Carefully. They spent the rest of the day scanning pages, creating backups, encrypting files. Rowan showed Olivia how she'd used burner emails to contact others anonymously, other women who'd left, others who were still too scared to speak. There were whispers of a pattern, a network of harm. Now it was becoming something solid, something undeniable. They worked side by side until the sun went down. Olivia ordered takeout, and they ate in their pajamas, curled on the floor with folders spread around them like a war map. This is insane, Olivia said around a bite of dumpling. This is war, Rowan replied. And you're a civilian who wandered into it. Correction. I'm a soldier now. Rowan smiled, faint but real. You make the worst metaphors. And yet you keep kissing me. Rowan leaned in, brushing their noses together. You're growing on me. Like a rash? Like a recklessly brave heartbeat. Olivia kissed her, gentle at first, then deeper, more sure. The kind of kiss that said, I see you, and I'm not scared. Later that night, as they lay in bed, Rowan resting against Olivia's shoulder, she whispered, If something happens to me, I want you to have the notebook. Olivia tensed. Don't say that. I need to. This isn't a fantasy, Liv. This is real. He's real. And if he thinks we're building something dangerous, he won't just watch. He'll act. Then we make sure we're louder.
Smarter.
You're not afraid of him, are you? I'm afraid of losing you. Rowan kissed her shoulder. Then hold me tighter. And Olivia did. At 3 a.m., Rowan woke with a jolt. Olivia stirred beside her. What is it? I thought I heard something. Olivia sat up, heart racing. They waited. Nothing. Just the hum of the refrigerator. The distant sound of the city, not sleeping. False alarm, Rowan muttered, but her voice shook. Olivia didn't say anything. She just pulled her close again, lips brushing her temple.
Sleep.
I'm not letting anything touch you. Not even fear? Especially fear. And Rowan closed her eyes again, knowing she was no longer running alone. The morning came, without warning. Olivia opened her eyes to the sound of Rowan's phone vibrating on the nightstand. A burner, one of two she carried, used only for emergencies, and the rare encrypted message from someone who owed her a favor. Rowan stirred beside her, her face still soft with sleep. For a second, Olivia considered letting it go to voicemail. Just 1 second more of peace. But the vibration didn't stop. Olivia sighed, reached for it, but Rowan was already awake, sitting up too fast, eyes instantly sharp. "Which one is it?" she asked. Olivia handed her the phone. "Your main." Rowan checked the screen. Her expression went blank. Then she stood, phone clutched tight in her hand, and walked to the kitchen without a word. Olivia followed. "What is it?" Rowan didn't answer immediately. She put the phone down, face up on the table. A message was displayed. Just 5 words. "Thought you could hide forever?" Olivia's blood chilled. "It's him." Rowan nodded. Her voice was calm, but Olivia knew better now. She could see the tightness around her mouth, the way her hand trembled slightly as she reached for the kettle. "He must have found a new way to trace me. Number was private. No reply option. Just the message. Can we trace it? Not from here. We'd need someone skilled." "What about the detective?" "She won't help unless we give her more." "We have more." "Not enough." Rowan turned, met Olivia's eyes.
He's watching again.
"Which means we have less time than I thought. Then we move faster." Rowan's mouth twitched like she wanted to argue, but didn't. "Instead," she said, "there's someone I need to see." "Who?" "Her name's Eliza. She used to work for him. She disappeared 2 years ago after refusing something he asked her to do. I've only heard from her once, through a secure channel. But if she's willing to talk, we might have the witness we need." Olivia hesitated. "Where is she?" Rowan looked away. "Upstate." "So we're leaving the city?" "Just for a day. It's risky, but necessary. I'll go alone." "Like hell you will." Rowan turned back sharply. "It's not safe, Rowan. We're past that. You don't go anywhere alone anymore. Not when we're this close. Not when he's this close." Rowan looked at her, and after a long beat, she nodded. "Okay, we go together. But we leave tonight. Less chance of being followed." Olivia swallowed hard. "Should we tell the detective?" "Not yet. She'd try to stop us." That night, under cover of darkness and a borrowed car from Olivia's friend Kate, they drove out of the city. The rain had returned, misting the windshield like a veil. Rowan kept the directions vague until they were on the road, unwilling to write anything down. Olivia didn't mind. She trusted her now, with more than she'd ever admitted aloud. "You've done this before," Olivia said softly as they passed another blinking gas station. "Disappeared."
Hidden.
Rowan gave a small, humorless smile. "It's easier than you'd think. But you came back." "Not willingly." Olivia glanced at her. "Do you regret it? Meeting you?" Rowan looked out the window.
No.
"Never." They drove for another hour, finally turning down a gravel path flanked by trees. A small cabin sat at the end, windows dark, roof sagging with age. Rowan cut the engine. "Wait here," she said, already opening the door. "Not a chance," Olivia replied, stepping out after her. Rowan knocked once.
Twice.
Then paused. The door opened slowly. A woman peeked through, older, tired eyes, salt in her dark curls. She looked at Rowan and froze. "Well, shit," she said. "Didn't think I'd ever see you again." "Eliza," Rowan said quietly. "I need your help." "You're bringing trouble," Eliza muttered, stepping aside. "Come in, both of you." Inside, the cabin smelled like smoke and peppermint. Eliza moved with practiced caution, locking 3 bolts behind them before pulling down heavy curtains. "He know you're here?" "He knows I'm somewhere," Rowan replied. "But not with you. Not yet." "You know what happens if he finds out?" "I do." Eliza stared at her. Then why now? Because I'm not running anymore. And I need your voice. Eliza's eyes shifted to Olivia. She the reason? One of them. You're in deep, Rowan. I know. Eliza poured them tea, sat across from them, the lines on her face sharper in the dim light. He asked me to bury someone, she said without preamble. Not literally. A woman, younger, bright, too smart. She was about to publish a report exposing one of his shell companies. He asked me to shut her up, discredit, ruin her. Did you? Olivia asked. I ran instead. Eliza's hands trembled slightly. I've been hiding ever since. Would you testify? Rowan asked. Eliza shook her head.
No.
But I'll give you a statement. On record. You can use my name. I won't hide anymore. Not if you're not. Olivia exhaled slowly. That's something. They stayed only an hour. Eliza gave them a flash drive, a signed document, a copy for backup. As they drove back, the rain thickened, making the world outside blur into streaks of water and motion. That woman is brave, Olivia said. So are you. Rowan didn't answer. Her jaw was tight again. Olivia reached for her hand, laced their fingers together as they drove. They arrived home just past 3 a.m. The apartment was cold still. Olivia locked the door, double-checked the windows. Rowan stood near the table, staring at the manila folder the detective had left days before. What's wrong? Olivia asked. Rowan didn't look at her. Something's off. What do you mean? It's too quiet. Olivia walked over. You think he's planning something?
No.
I think he already did. Olivia's phone buzzed. One message. No number.
Just a video.
Her breath caught. She opened it. The footage showed Olivia walking down the street. That morning. Alone. Buying coffee. A second angle, her entering her building. A third, a zoomed-in shot of her through the apartment window. Olivia's blood ran cold. He's watching me now. Rowan's face hardened. That's the message. Olivia looked up, eyes wide. What do we do? Rowan stepped closer. We hit back. Harder than before. He made it personal.
So now?
We make it public. They didn't sleep. Not that night. Not after watching those videos. Olivia had rewatched them only once before closing her phone and turning it off, but that was enough. Enough to make it real. Enough to feel him inside their home without ever having opened the door. Rowan paced for almost an hour, muttering half-formed plans, her mind looping through possibilities and strategies like a soldier plotting a siege. Olivia stayed on the couch, knees pulled up, arms wrapped around herself, watching her with growing fear. Not of Rowan, but for her. Eventually, Rowan stopped, turned to her and said, We have to release everything. Olivia blinked. Everything. The files. The names. The patterns. Eliza's statement. The videos. All of it. Won't that make it worse? It'll make it visible. Olivia stood. Rowan, going public means he'll come after us harder. He won't hide anymore. Exactly. Rowan's eyes burned, not with fear, but fury. If he wants war, we make sure the whole world's watching. Olivia exhaled. Then we need help. I know someone. A journalist. Independent. She won't be bought off. Someone you trust? Trusted. Once. I don't have the luxury of certainty anymore. Olivia grabbed her laptop. What's her name? Maya Sinclair. The name came out like a wound. Olivia looked up. You okay? She was my friend. Until she became afraid. Until she looked the other way. Do you think she'll talk to us now? She will if she has a soul left. Rowan typed the email herself. Olivia watched her fingers fly across the keyboard, voice calm as she read aloud. Maya, you said if I ever had proof, you'd listen. I have it. All of it. But I won't hand it over unless I know you're still who you said you were. If you are, meet me tomorrow. 10 a.m., Bryant Park. North Side. I'll be watching first. If you're alone, I'll come to you. If not, I disappear. One chance. One voice. Don't waste it. Olivia read it twice. That'll get her attention. Rowan hit send. Then she stood and stared out the window. Now we wait. Neither of them spoke for a long time. When Rowan finally came to bed, it wasn't to sleep. She curled against Olivia, head tucked beneath her chin, hand wrapped tightly around her side. If something happens tomorrow, don't. Olivia cut in. You're not leaving a last message. I need to know you'll be okay. I won't be. Not if I lose you. Rowan looked up. Then let's not lose anything. The next morning came fast and cold. Olivia dressed in neutral tones, hair tucked under a hat, eyes hidden behind sunglasses. Rowan did the same, even though she hated disguises. It wasn't about hiding anymore, it was about control. About setting the terms of their appearance. Bryant Park was already busy when they arrived, crowded with commuters and early joggers and tourists who didn't understand that every inch of New York carried a secret. Olivia took a bench facing the north side, eyes scanning the park. Rowan stood several feet behind, half obscured by a vendor cart, arms crossed. At exactly 10 a.m., Maya appeared. Tall, coat too expensive to be casual, blonde hair pulled back in a loose bun, clutching a notebook like it was a shield. She looked alone. Rowan didn't move for 10 minutes. She watched, measured, then finally walked over. Olivia followed at a distance, staying just close enough to intervene if something went wrong. You came, Rowan said. Maya turned. Her eyes widened. Jesus. Rowan, it's been a while. Maya's voice cracked. I didn't think. I know. You didn't. Maya glanced at Olivia. Is she? She's the reason I'm still breathing. Maya nodded slowly. Why now? Because I'm done hiding. And I have enough to burn him to the ground. Do you have documentation? More than you'll ever need. Sources. At least 6. Some on record. Some anonymous. One who'll speak if she knows you'll protect her. Eliza? Maya asked. She's alive and talking. Maya's hands shook. Rowan, this story could change everything. Or get me killed. Why risk it? Rowan looked at Olivia. Because something good finally found me. And I won't let him take that too. Maya swallowed hard. Then let's do this right.
Carefully.
Thoroughly. You'll publish it? With your name? Rowan hesitated. Yes. You understand what that means? I do. He'll come for me anyway. This way, I hit first. They exchanged contact information. Secure channels. Backups. Protocols. Olivia watched Rowan walk away from that meeting like a woman stepping into her own power for the first time. And it moved her, deeply. Back home, Rowan barely spoke. She paced. Checked her phone. Checked the locks. Olivia let her spiral for a while. Then, when the tension hit its peak, she pulled Rowan into her arms and kissed her hard. You're doing something brave, Olivia said. But you're not doing it alone. Rowan gripped her shirt. I don't want to be brave anymore. Then just be here. With me. And they were. For hours. In bed, in silence, in each other. That night, the first draft of Maya's article came in. The subject line read, Your voice, finally heard. Olivia read it out loud. Every word was raw, honest, powerful. Rowan didn't cry, but her hand never left Olivia's. Until the last line. Her name is Rowan Vale, and she is not afraid anymore. Rowan turned away then, shoulders trembling. Olivia kissed the back of her neck and whispered, We're not running. We're standing. And Rowan whispered back, Then let him come. The article dropped at 7:03 a.m. Olivia woke to the sound of her phone vibrating nonstop on the nightstand. Texts, emails, missed calls. She blinked at the screen, still tangled in sheets and in Rowan's arms, the glow of early morning cutting across the room in thin golden lines. She sat up slowly, careful not to wake her. But Rowan stirred anyway. It's out, she said, voice thick with sleep. Olivia nodded. It's everywhere. Rowan sat up, reached for her own phone, and didn't even flinch at the dozens of alerts flashing across it. Her hands were steady. Olivia watched her scroll through headlines, social media threads, quotes being pulled in real time. Rowan Vale speaks out against former CEO. A predator exposed. the silent network of power. She vanished to survive. Now she's back to fight. And then the messages started. Some from women Rowan didn't know. Others she hadn't heard from in years. All of them saying the same thing. Thank you. You made me feel less alone. Because of you, I'm speaking up too. Rowan sat frozen for a moment, then slowly handed the phone to Olivia. Read them to me. Olivia's voice cracked halfway through the second one. She said you saved her life, just by naming what he did to you. Rowan looked down at her hands. I didn't think my name could do anything but bring trouble. Your name just became a lighthouse. The day blurred after that. Maya called. The editor of the publication called. Olivia had 3 new voicemails from Langford, all of them offering to reconsider their prior decision and invite her to join a collaborative writing project on survivor narratives. Rowan barely left the couch. Olivia made coffee, brought food she knew Rowan would need, and checked every window twice. It wasn't until sunset that Rowan finally spoke again. He's going to respond. Olivia looked up from the dining table. Let him. He'll deny it. Of course. He'll threaten legal action. And he'll try to paint me as unstable, jealous, delusional. Then we show them the files, the dates, the photos, Eliza's testimony, the others coming forward. You think we came this far without expecting backlash? Rowan stood, paced slowly across the room, barefoot and restless. You're not afraid? Olivia stood too. I'm terrified. She walked over and reached for Rowan's hand. But I'm more afraid of you thinking you're alone in this. Rowan's shoulders dropped. I've spent so long preparing for war that I never imagined what peace would even feel like. Olivia leaned in. Maybe peace is just this. Someone choosing to stand beside you even when it's easier to walk away. Rowan kissed her. Not like a thank you. Not like relief. But like something deeper, like home. They ended up on the floor, breathless, mouths tangled, hands learning every inch of skin not out of desperation, but devotion. No one was running now. No one was hiding. After, Rowan lay with her head on Olivia's chest, her fingers lightly brushing the curve of her side. You made me remember what tenderness feels like, she whispered. Olivia smiled into her hair. You taught me what it means to fight for someone. Later that night, Olivia received a message request on her laptop. No name. Just a subject line. Your girlfriend is brave. Let's see how brave you are.
She didn't open it.
She showed it to Rowan instead. Rowan didn't flinch. She just nodded. He's cornered. He's throwing threats now because it's all he has left. Do we report it? Already did. Maya's legal team is backing us now. And the detective's watching him. And if he escalates? Rowan met her eyes. Then we finish this. Olivia felt it then, how deep they were in. This wasn't a story anymore. It was their life, their war, their bond. And no matter how much fire came for them, Rowan wasn't going to run. Not this time. They went to bed in silence, but their hands never stopped touching, fingers brushing under blankets, palms pressed together like they were still anchoring each other through the storm. At 2 a.m., Rowan whispered, Do you still want that job at Langford? Olivia blinked, half asleep. I'm not sure. Because you deserve it. Not because you sacrificed something for me. Olivia turned to face her. I didn't lose anything. I found you. Rowan's eyes glistened. You'll be brilliant. Whether it's Langford or something better. We'll see. Rowan hesitated. Do you ever wish you hadn't stopped for me that day? Olivia didn't hesitate.
No.
You were the most important thing I never saw coming. Rowan moved closer, burying her face into Olivia's neck. I don't know how to love like other people do. Then love me your way. I'll meet you there. Even when I fall apart? Especially then. The city was quiet outside their window. The worst might still be coming. But inside that apartment, in that bed, there was only one truth left. Rowan wasn't a survivor because she escaped. She was a survivor because she chose to live again. And Olivia had given her the reason. The retaliation came faster than they expected. Less than 48 hours after the article dropped, a glossy, high-budget video surfaced online. Rowan saw it before Olivia did. She was standing in the kitchen, pouring coffee into 2 chipped mugs, when her phone lit up with a notification from an anonymous source. "You should see what they're saying now." She tapped the link. A man appeared on screen. Well-dressed.
Calm.
Calculated. Her abuser. The man whose name had been quietly whispered behind closed doors for years, now speaking directly into the camera with the charisma of a politician and the poison of a serpent. "I want to address the recent slanderous accusations made against me," he began, hands folded on the desk, posture perfect. "These stories are not only false, they're dangerous. I have spent my life building communities, empowering women, and funding causes for safety and progress. These recent lies are an attack on my character, my career, and the integrity of everything I've built." Rowan stared at the screen, numb. "I understand that sometimes people lash out when they feel abandoned," he continued. "Rowan Vale is someone I once cared about deeply. I offered her support during a dark time in her life. I have the emails, the voicemails, proof that I was not her enemy, but her savior, that I tried to help her." Olivia entered the room with a tired smile. "Morning, you." Her words died when she saw Rowan's face. "What is it?" Rowan turned the screen toward her. They watched the rest of it together, him smiling as he spoke, fabricating a version of the truth designed to fracture public opinion. "I don't blame Rowan," he said at the end, with a perfectly measured sigh. "I pity her." Olivia was trembling by the time it ended. "We knew this would happen," Rowan whispered. "We knew he'd lie." "Not like that. He's manipulating the narrative, twisting every truth into doubt. Classic strategy." Olivia's jaw clenched. "What do we do?" "We stay quiet." "What?" "For now. Let it breathe. Let people see the cracks in his story." "But, Olivia." Rowan's voice was steady. "This is a game of control. He wants us to react, to scramble. We don't give him that." Olivia nodded slowly, but her eyes didn't stop flicking back to the screen, to the image of the man who'd tried to erase the woman she now loved. That afternoon, the media war began. News outlets picked up the video. Social media erupted with hashtags both defending and attacking Rowan. Comment sections turned vicious. Anonymous accounts sent messages that ranged from "thank you for your bravery" to "you should have stayed silent." Rowan didn't flinch at the hate. Not once. But Olivia saw it chipping away at her, not visibly, but beneath the surface, like water eroding stone. And then came the call that broke everything. Rowan answered it before Olivia could stop her. She didn't recognize the number, but the voice on the other end, soft, female, shaking, made her freeze. "Rowan, who is this?" "My name's Mariah. I'm his fiancée." Silence. "I found your name in an old folder he had. I saw the article. I didn't know. Rowan sat slowly on the edge of the couch. "What do you want from me?" "To know if it's true." Rowan's throat worked around the lump there. "All of it." Mariah's breath cracked. "I needed to hear it. I think I've known. Somewhere. Deep down. But I needed to hear it. Are you safe?"
For now.
"But he doesn't know I found your name." Rowan swallowed hard. "If you want out, I can help you. But only if you're sure." "I'm not sure of anything except that I don't want to end up like you." The line went dead. Rowan stared at the phone in her hand. Olivia moved to sit beside her. "Who was it?" Rowan didn't speak. Not at first. Then his next victim. Olivia's hand found hers. "We help her. If she lets us. We make sure she knows she's not alone." Rowan leaned into her, letting her body relax for the first time all day. "It doesn't stop, does it?" "Not until we end it." That night, Olivia opened a blank document on her laptop. Rowan was in the shower, the sound of water muffled behind the door. Olivia sat on the bed and began to type. Not an article, not a diary entry, a letter to the people who believed and to those who didn't.
To the women still scared to speak.
To the Mariah on the other end of the line. "You asked if it was true."
It is.
But more than that, it's real. We are real. Our stories, our pain, our survival. They've tried to silence us in every possible way, but here we are. Still standing. Still speaking. Still loving. You're not broken because you're scared. You're brave because you want more. She didn't know if Rowan would want to publish it.
Maybe it wasn't about that.
Maybe it was just about the act of writing it, putting truth into the world without needing permission. Rowan stepped out of the shower, towel wrapped tight around her, eyes tired but clear. What are you doing? Olivia turned the screen. Writing. For you. For her. Rowan sat beside her, reading. Her eyes didn't leave the screen until the very end. You said we are still loving. Olivia nodded. Because we are. Right? Rowan looked at her like she was trying to memorize her face. I think I'm falling in love with you. Olivia's breath caught. Then fall. I've got you. And Rowan did. Right there, in a quiet apartment in a loud world, she let herself fall, not into fear, but into something she hadn't thought she'd ever deserve again. Love.
Real. Fierce.
Loud in all the right places. The meeting with Mariah was arranged with the precision of a covert operation. Olivia and Rowan met her in a small bookstore cafe on the Lower East Side, one that smelled of cinnamon, dust, and ink. Rowan had chosen the location, public enough to be safe, quiet enough to be real. Mariah was already seated when they arrived. She wore a beige coat too clean, hands wrapped tightly around a mug she hadn't touched. Her eyes lifted when she saw Rowan, and for a second no one moved. Then Rowan sat across from her. Olivia sat beside her, silent but steady. You came, Mariah whispered. Rowan nodded. So did you. Mariah's voice cracked. I haven't slept since the article. You shouldn't be here if you're not ready. I don't know what I am. I just know I needed to see the woman who walked away from him and lived. Rowan didn't flinch. Living came later. Mariah reached into her purse, pulled out a flash drive. These are recordings. Voice memos he didn't know I saved. Him threatening people. Bragging about silencing women. Some about you. Rowan's hand shook slightly as she took it. Why are you giving this to me? Because I need you to use it. And what about you? Mariah looked down. I don't know yet. He'll come after you, if he finds out. He'll come after me anyway. Better he comes for the woman I really am. Olivia finally spoke. Do you want out, Mariah? Mariah looked at her, eyes tired. I want the part of me back that doesn't feel like she's being watched all the time. Then you're halfway there. They stayed only 20 minutes. When they left, Rowan hugged her. Not out of obligation, but as a woman who knew exactly what it meant to stand at the edge of escape and not yet leap. Back home, Olivia transferred the files and forwarded them to Maya under a new secure line. Maya replied within minutes. This is the final blow. But Rowan didn't celebrate. She sat by the window again, her old familiar place. Her silence wasn't fear this time. It was mourning. He's still in me, she said quietly. His voice.
His shadow.
His hands. Olivia walked over, sat behind her, wrapped her arms around her waist. But so am I.
My voice.
My hands. My love. Rowan closed her eyes. I want to believe that more than I want to breathe. Then start here. Olivia placed her hand over Rowan's heart. You're not who he left. You're who you became after. That night, the power went out. A citywide blackout triggered by a blown substation, but it hit like an omen. Olivia lit candles. Rowan stayed close. Neither said what they were thinking, that this is exactly the kind of chaos he would use. At 11:43 p.m., someone knocked on the door. 1, 2, 3 times. Olivia froze. Rowan stood. Don't, Olivia whispered. Wait. Rowan ignored her. She moved to the door, silent as breath. She didn't open it, just pressed her eye to the peephole. A shape stood on the other side, tall, broad, wearing a black coat. It's him, Rowan whispered. Olivia's blood went cold. He wouldn't come himself.
He would.
Now that it's public. Now that he knows I'm winning. Rowan opened the drawer, pulled out the small stun gun Olivia didn't even know she had. You're not opening that door. Olivia said firmly. Rowan. Yes, I am. Olivia grabbed her wrist. If you face him, you don't face him alone. Rowan turned to her. Then stand with me. Olivia nodded once. Together, they opened the door. Just a crack. Enough to see him. His face was calm, collected, smiling. Hello, Rowan. You're trespassing, she said coldly. I came to talk. We have nothing to say. That's not what your little article suggests. Rowan stepped forward slightly. You're finished. You just don't know it yet. You think people care about your sob story? About a bitter little girl who couldn't handle success? Olivia stepped forward. She's not alone. His eyes flicked to Olivia. And you must be the reason she thinks she's strong. She knows she is, Olivia spat. You're done intimidating her. He smiled wider. Oh, I haven't even started. Rowan raised the stun gun. You take one step through this door, and I swear to God. He didn't move. I'm not here to fight. Just to say goodbye. Enjoy your moment, Rowan. You'll miss the power once it fades. He turned and walked away. Olivia shut the door and locked it. Rowan collapsed to the floor. Not from fear. From release. It's done, she whispered. He came. He saw I wasn't afraid. Olivia knelt beside her. And he didn't know what to do with it. They stayed like that, bodies close, hearts thundering, but free. Not safe. Not yet. But free in the way that mattered. Rowan rested her forehead against Olivia's. I thought this day would break me. And I think it made me whole. Olivia kissed her. Long, deep. Full of everything they hadn't had time to feel. This wasn't survival anymore. This was reclamation. When the power returned hours later, Rowan was still in Olivia's arms. And she didn't let go. The morning after he showed up at their door, Rowan woke to silence. Not dread. Not fear. Real silence, the kind that made space instead of taking it. Olivia was still asleep beside her, one arm tucked under Rowan's waist, the other curled loosely near her collarbone like muscle memory. The sun filtered through the curtains, casting pale golden stripes across the floor. Rowan stared at the ceiling for a long time before moving. She didn't feel panic. She didn't feel hunted. She felt unfamiliar in her own stillness. Like she'd spent so long vibrating with survival that peace felt like foreign ground. Olivia stirred behind her, mumbled something incoherent, and wrapped her arm tighter around Rowan's middle. And for the first time, Rowan didn't tense. She sank into the touch, let herself be held. You're awake early, Olivia said against her shoulder. Rowan hummed. Didn't know sleep without nightmares existed. Olivia pressed a soft kiss to her neck. You earned this. We did. Olivia pulled away slightly, blinking sleep from her eyes. Think he'll try anything else? Rowan shook her head. He already played his last card. Now he watches it all burn. And burn it did. By noon, Maya had published the second piece. Headline: The Final Proof. What he didn't want you to hear. The article included audio clips from Mariah's files, transcripts of threats, accounts from women who had finally come forward after Rowan's story opened the floodgates. The story exploded. News outlets ran with it. His PR team scrambled to issue statements, but nothing stuck. He disappeared from social media within hours. His foundation lost 3 major sponsors. By midnight, the company he once ruled issued a public announcement. He had been removed from all leadership roles effective immediately. Rowan read every word. She didn't cry. She didn't cheer. She just sat on the couch, Olivia curled beside her, and let it settle into her skin like warmth she hadn't realized she'd needed. That's it, Olivia whispered. He's out. He'll try to spin it. Reinvent himself. Maybe. But not with the same power. Not with the same silence surrounding him. Rowan exhaled. I never thought the day would come when he'd lose. Olivia looked at her. You didn't just survive him, Rowan. You ended him. They turned off the lights early that night. Not to hide. Just to rest. Truly rest. And when Rowan fell asleep, Olivia stayed awake just long enough to memorize the shape of her piece. The next morning, the phone rang. Maya again. Rowan answered. The district attorney's office wants to meet. Maya said. They're opening a formal investigation. Are they expecting me to testify? Eventually.
But not yet.
For now, they want to start with the evidence. They have it. They have it because of you. After the call, Rowan stood in the center of the apartment, staring out the window. I feel like I'm coming back into my body, she said softly. Like I've been half alive for years. Olivia wrapped her arms around her from behind. So, what now? Rowan turned. Now we figure out who I am outside of him. And I'll be right here while you do. That afternoon, they took a walk. No disguises. No back exits. They walked through Central Park with their fingers laced together, and if anyone stared, Rowan didn't notice. Or didn't care. I'm thinking about leaving the city, Rowan said suddenly. Olivia glanced at her. Leaving? Not forever. Just for a while. I want air. Real quiet. A chance to breathe where no one knows what he did to me. Where I can exist without being his survivor. Olivia nodded slowly. Do you want to go alone? Rowan stopped walking. Do you want to come? Olivia's smile was soft. Wherever you go, I want to at least try. Rowan touched her face. I don't want to run anymore. But I want to choose something for myself. Just once. Not out of fear. Not out of strategy. Then let's go find a place that feels like yours. And yours. Olivia kissed her, right there on the path. Soft and slow and sure. A kiss that didn't hide. That night, they started looking at cabins online. Places by lakes. By mountains. One even had a tiny greenhouse in the back, and Rowan lingered on it longer than she meant to. You'd grow things, Olivia teased. I think I'd like to try. I'd help. I'd be terrible at it, but I'd help. I know you would. By midnight, Rowan had packed 2 bags. Olivia packed one. They left the next morning with no press, no goodbye to the city, no need to announce anything to the world. They'd done enough of that. The world could turn without them for a while. The drive was long, quiet, easy. Rowan drove. Olivia read. The silence between them was no longer about what wasn't said. It was full of trust. Full of space. They arrived just after sunset. The cabin was small.
Old. Perfect.
Olivia stood on the porch, staring at the stretch of trees beyond the yard. This feels like a reset button. Rowan stepped beside her. It's not the end.
No.
It's the beginning. Inside, they unpacked slowly, turning the space into theirs piece by piece.
Books.
Blankets. A framed photo Olivia had printed at the last minute. The 2 of them, candid, laughing in the kitchen. Rowan stared at it for a long time before setting it on the shelf. That was the day after the article went up. You were glowing. I was finally free. Olivia touched her hand. You still are. Rowan looked at her, and for the first time in days, her voice shook when she spoke. I didn't think I could love again. Olivia pulled her close. You're doing it now. It still scares me. Then love me scared. I can take it. That night, under quiet stars and wrapped in soft blankets and slower breath, Rowan let go of the last piece of who she'd been. And in its place, something new bloomed. Something fragile, but fierce. Something that looked a lot like hope. The cabin had a creaky floor and a crooked doorframe that stuck in the morning when the air was damp, but Rowan loved it more with each passing day. It didn't ask anything of her. It didn't remember who she had been before. And more than anything, it didn't watch her, not like the city had, not like he had. It simply let her be. Olivia took to the place with an ease that startled them both. She planted herbs in repurposed mugs and dragged a sun-faded bench out to the porch. She read in the mornings, barefoot, her hair messy and tucked into one of Rowan's hoodies, and Rowan found herself staring often, not just because Olivia was beautiful, but because she looked like home. The silence here was different. It wasn't heavy anymore. It stretched between them like a hammock, soft, strong, suspended in trust. Rowan woke early now. She wrote. Not about him. Not about the trauma or the pain or the court documents Maya kept her updated on from afar. She wrote about other women. Fictional ones. Women who burned things down and built new worlds from the ashes. Women who loved other women slowly, fiercely, completely. One morning, Olivia walked in from the garden, dirt on her cheek and a handful of basil in her hand. "You're up early," she said, kissing the top of Rowan's head. Rowan turned her laptop screen toward her. "Read this." Olivia blinked.
Now.
"Please." Olivia sat beside her. She read the opening paragraph aloud, voice soft, steady. The first time she tasted freedom, it didn't come in the form of victory. It came in quiet mornings, clean air, the slow unraveling of fear until all that was left was a woman with ink on her hands and room to breathe. Olivia stopped. Her eyes shimmered.
Rowan.
"This is for you," Rowan said. "And for me, but mostly for the version of us I never thought would survive." Olivia set the laptop down gently, then cupped Rowan's face in both hands. "You're writing again. I'm living again." They didn't talk about the city much anymore. Maya emailed weekly updates. The investigation was active, the DA building a case, new women speaking up with the courage Rowan had sparked. Her story had become a catalyst, not a conclusion. And that was exactly how Rowan wanted it. One night, Olivia brought out a bottle of wine they'd been saving. They sat on the porch, feet tangled, fireflies dancing beyond the railing. "What are we celebrating?" Rowan asked, smiling. Olivia raised her glass. "Your peace." "That's a fragile thing to toast to." "Then we toast to your fire. You kept it burning through all of it." "I almost lost it." "You didn't. You just needed someone to remind you how to hold it." They clinked glasses. Later, Olivia curled up in bed beside her, skin warm, heartbeat calm. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you hadn't stopped for me that day?" Rowan asked. Olivia hummed. "Sometimes. But only because I can't imagine not knowing you. You saved my life. You made it worth saving." Rowan turned to her, eyes shining in the moonlight. "I want to submit the story." Olivia blinked. "The one you're writing now?"
Yes.
"Under my name." Olivia smiled, wide and proud. "Do it." "I'm still afraid."
Good.
"Do it afraid." The next morning, Rowan sent the manuscript to Maya. 2 hours later, Maya called her in tears. "It's beautiful," she said. "It's not just a story, Rowan. It's a mirror. And people need to see themselves in it." A small press agreed to publish it. The same one Olivia had once submitted to before Langford ever called. When the cover design came in, Olivia cried. A woman standing in the woods, her back to the viewer, but her hand reaching behind her, and another hand clasped in hers. "It's us," Olivia whispered. Rowan touched the screen. "It's every version of us." They printed copies early as a surprise. When the first box arrived, Rowan didn't open it right away. She stood beside it, silent. Olivia walked over, took her hand. "Want to do it together?" Rowan nodded. They opened the box, peeled back the paper, and there it was, her name, on the cover. Not attached to someone else's destruction. Not tied to pain. Just hers. Her voice. Her truth.
Her choice.
Rowan picked up the first copy. Held it like something sacred. "I never thought I'd see my name and not flinch." Olivia kissed her shoulder. "Get used to it." That night, they built a fire in the small pit behind the cabin. Rowan tossed in an old file folder, the last physical copy of the documentation, now stored safely and digitally. She watched the flames catch and rise. "This doesn't erase what happened," she said. "No," Olivia agreed. "But it's the end of what he left behind. And the beginning of everything else." Rowan looked at her. "Stay with me. Always. Even when I'm difficult. Especially then." They kissed under the stars, slow and certain. The kind of kiss that didn't need to prove anything. The kind that simply was. Rowan didn't belong to fear anymore. She belonged to herself. To her words. To the quiet power she'd always carried. And to Olivia, the woman who hadn't saved her, but stood with her while she saved herself. It had been 7 months since they left the city. 7 months since Rowan burned what was left of her old life and began rewriting herself, not as a survivor, not as a name in someone else's scandal, but as a woman, whole and unafraid to be seen. The cabin had become more than a retreat. It was theirs. A space filled with laughter, healing, new habits, and slow mornings. Olivia had started freelancing for independent magazines, finally taking on work she believed in without compromising her voice. And Rowan had finished another manuscript. She didn't know if it was worth publishing. That wasn't the point. This time, she wrote for joy. For herself. For the girl who once thought her voice would only echo inside for walls no one would ever enter. The day the wind shifted, Rowan felt it before the phone even rang. She was outside, barefoot, weeding the garden they'd built from scratch. Olivia sat on the steps behind her, sipping coffee and watching with amused affection. You know, Olivia said, I never imagined you as the dirt under the nails type. Rowan looked over her shoulder. And yet here I am, covered in it, thriving. Olivia grinned. God, I love you like this. Like what? Unedited, unbothered, rooted. Rowan stood, dusting soil off her knees, and walked to her. Rooted is a new feeling. Looks good on you. Rowan kissed her softly. I think I'm ready. For what? To go back. Just for a few days.
To speak.
To stand in a room full of people and tell the truth with my own voice. Olivia didn't flinch. She just nodded. Then I'll be there. First row. Every second. The invitation had come a week before, a women's rights conference in the city, hosted by the same nonprofit that once turned Rowan away when she sought help. Now, they wanted her to headline the closing panel, not as a victim, as a catalyst. The train ride back to Manhattan felt like a lifetime collapsed into hours. Olivia held Rowan's hand the whole way. No words, just warmth, just presence. The city greeted them with sirens and concrete and a kind of energy Rowan had once feared. But now she walked through it with her chin high and her back straight. Maya met them at the venue. You look incredible, she told Rowan. How do you feel? Like I'm not here to be palatable. I'm here to be loud. Good. Maya squeezed her arm. Then go burn it down. The auditorium filled quickly. People stood against the walls, some holding copies of Rowan's book, others simply watching her like she was something they'd never expected to see alive. Olivia sat front and center. She didn't blink once. When Rowan stepped on stage, the silence was reverent. No music, no introduction, just a woman and her truth. I'm not here to tell you how I survived, Rowan began. I'm here to tell you why I stopped hiding. Her voice didn't shake. Not once. For years, I lived with his voice in my head, louder than my own. I believed that silence was safety, that disappearing was survival. But then someone found me, someone who didn't ask me to explain, who didn't run from my damage, who stood beside me when I decided to stop running. And that's when I remembered what power really is. Not the kind that crushes, but the kind that chooses. The kind that stays. The kind that rebuilds. I'm not the woman I was. I'm not the woman he tried to make me. I'm the woman who chose to live again. And to anyone listening, anyone still silent, your voice doesn't have to sound like mine. It just has to be yours. When she finished, the room didn't erupt. It exhaled. Then it rose to its feet. Every single person. Olivia's hands were the first to clap. Tears streaked her cheeks, and she didn't care who saw. After the event, people tried to crowd Rowan. Congratulate her. Thank her. But she slipped out the side door, hand tightly in Olivia's, and didn't stop walking until they reached the river. They stood at the railing, watching the water move. You were amazing, Olivia whispered. Rowan leaned into her. I said what I needed to say.
For them. For me.
For Mariah. For every version of me that thought she'd never get this far. And what now? Now I live. With me? Rowan turned to her, the city lights catching in her eyes. Always with you. You sure? I want a life where we argue about what to plant next, where we fight over tea versus coffee, where we forget anniversaries and remember to laugh. I want boring and beautiful and completely ours. Olivia kissed her, smiling against her lips. Then let's go home. They left that night. No media. No announcements. Just the two of them.
Quiet. Whole.
The cabin was just as they left it. Wildflowers growing near the porch. Books left open mid-sentence. A half-written note Olivia had scrawled across a napkin. "You're my favorite chapter." Rowan found it when she unpacked. She taped it above her desk. That night, wrapped in blankets and each other, Rowan whispered, "Do you know what day it is?" Olivia blinked. "Tuesday? 1 year. Since I fell. Since you stopped. Since everything." Olivia kissed her temple. Happy accident. Felt like fate. Felt like love. Outside, the wind shifted again, but this time, it didn't carry ghosts. It carried the scent of earth, of basil, of pages turning. Rowan closed her eyes and finally, completely, let herself feel it. She was not surviving anymore. She was living, loving, writing.
Free.
If you enjoyed this content and want to support the channel in a special way, try clicking the thanks button below. It's the one with the heart and $sign icon. With super thanks, you can make a direct contribution to the channel, which helps me keep creating awesome videos for you.